Hey, shalom, shalom. First off, I like to say, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Bahashim, Rahwa, Qudash. Thawada, Yahweh, for giving us Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai in them. Double honors to the CT bishops, elders of GMS, our Begakim, and greetings and salutations to the Akim in this country and all over the world, prophesying in the true name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody who are descendants from those people on their father's side. Shalom to those who are scattered abroad. I am Yahuwah, a Lord of Willing, serving the King of the universe, King Yahushai, from the power of Yahweh. All right, the Father of our Lord and the Father of the nation of Israel. All right, and yeah, so real quick, I just want to go, got to run out real quick, but I just want to do a quick video. So basically, the title is the M.O.T.B man. All right, the M.O.T.B man, aka Elon Musk, parts ways with Trump. Okay, and in hyphenated is going to be in suspicious. All right, and also are the tariffs a Ponzi scheme? All right, are the tariffs a Ponzi scheme? Okay, Lord willing, that all fits in the title. All right, so what I want to just go into real quick is like the title says, basically, in this I'm gonna put Apostle Dahar's show he did. Right now it's 2:30 p.m. This morning, a few hours ago, he went into Trump and the tariffs and what's going on. So this is kind of backing this up too. But I did see that that Elon Musk, he did part ways with Trump. All right, so he's not in the office anymore. He's not, I guess, in his position in the public eye anymore. He's dropping down from his position, allegedly, supposedly, right? But the thing is, so I thought that was suspicious because we know the M.O.T.B, aka the M.O.T.B man, the mark of the beast. I'm talking about Revelation 13 and 16, is that he's the perfect example of that, because what he is doing, his whole essence, his business, and what he promotes is he declared that he supports putting RFID chips. All right, and publicly said that he's putting chips inside of human trials in people's brains. Okay. All right, that's common knowledge. That again, Elon Musk, what he's doing and what he's inspiring to do, his whole goal is to basically, he's into transhumanism. All right, which is basically again putting certain aesthetics, that are tapped in to the grid by way of signals, 5G technology, or by basically radio frequency technology. All right, and that involves putting a computer chip in you, a chip. All right, which literally matches up with the scriptures, the M.O.T.B, the mark of the beast. All right, because with this chip, like GMS, starting with apostles, GMS, and on down through the Holy Spirit, we've been telling you the only camp prophesying about this. That's the end game. No matter what you do before, if you take that chip in the spirit of the Lord, you're done. All right. Now the elect, we know they're not going to take the chip. So anyway, Salakia, my point is that he proves that. Okay, he's living, breathing. He proves that prophecy. Again, he outwardly is promoting that and pushing for that. All right, I believe he got a chip in his head already. Anyway, so he parts ways with Trump now. So why do I say suspicious? Because uh, um, maybe he accomplished what he was supposed to do anyway. We know that if you're in the know, you know that the elites, the elites, the Zionists, whatever you want to call them, Big Brother, Fakinati, the elite banking families, they're the ones that control policy all over the world. You know, the borrower is servant to the lender, right? Like Mara M. Shabara said, I cannot give me controls of a nation's money. I care not who creates their laws, right? So um, this is all about money, man. Um, and it was so basically I'm saying that it was suspicious to me that he parts ways. So my thing is, did he go in there and follow the orders of the elites? Right? Of course he is, but maybe he accomplished what he did. So I was wondering that, and I wanted to do a show on that. This was like a week ago, but now today, after I was looking at Paul Starr's show, and then I saw that I think we're about to show a clip. I saw that Elon Musk made $36 billion, all right, from the tariff being, I guess, how do you say, it's frozen now. The tariffs are frozen, or a 90-day halt. You know what I mean? So whatever Trump did, where he's backtracking now, right? Where he's putting a halt on this, or whatever the details are. You guys know. Paul Starr went into it, right? Even his video, I'm about to show a video that he benefited. He made $36 trillion, man, overnight. All right, from this whole tariff pause, whatever. So we're about to show this news clip about that, a few news clips, and I got two scriptures, James 5:1. All right, because basically that's what they're doing. These elites are heaping treasures up for the last days. Now Elon Musk, he's not an elite. He's nothing but he's just a front man, right? He's by far not the richest man on earth. All right, the elites who control them, all right, they're in the trillions. All right, in the trillions, man. They can't count their money. Anyway, so again, I got my answer, Lord willing, because I was wondering why he left. But to me, it seems like he went in there, he accomplishes whatever he did, and whatever he was doing was mostly about pushing AI, artificial intelligence, pushing executive orders for the to support the M.O.T.B, right, to come into fruition, which is already here, and what else he was doing, whatever else he was going with the Department of Justice and the DEI and tracking everybody's money. That was all just for show and to embarrass the nation, But overall, and for political talking points. But overall, he went in there to do something. I guess he's done, and now they're parting ways, And then again, finding out he just made $32 billion. So let's get into these clips. And it's like I said, I just want to do this real quick. That's why I don't got my garment on and stuff. I'm about to step out. So let's look at. I got a few news clips. All right, and I wanna a little bright. I want to go into, let me just show these clips, Salakia. All right. Show these clips real quick. This thing is too big. I was trying to, okay, so I got the clips here. Let's put them up, and this will be in the description. So let's go into the parting of ways first. This is from 8 days, and we'll go into the two other videos I got saved here. So let's play this real quick.
And we are back here for you on live now from Fox. Thanks again to all our viewers continuing to join us right now. Live look here at the White House as we get you ready for President Trump remarks coming at 4 p.m. Eastern. Of course, this will be highly in demand as we hear from him on tariffs, as today will be the day that they are implementing
right, it's freezing up, so like I don't know what's going on. All right, let's oh boy, man.
And we will be keeping an eye on the White House, and if there are any remarks from lawmakers ahead of that, of course, we will bring that to you on Live Now from Fox. All right, everyone, Mike Pace here. I'll be with you for the next 4 hours as we bring you top stories, live feeds, and breaking news as they come in. And we do have a breaking news report here that we want to bring to you regarding Elon Musk, Politico is reporting that Elon is thinking about stepping back from his Doge efforts. We are learning from Politico reporting that the president remains pleased with Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency initiative, but both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to return to his businesses and take on a supporting role, according to 3 President Trump insiders who were granted access to describe the evolving relationship. Musk's looming retreat comes as some Trump administration insiders and many outside allies have become frustrated with his unpredictability and increasingly view the billionaire as a political liability, a dynamic that was thrown into stark relief just yesterday when a conservative judge Musk vocally supported lost his bid for a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat by 10 points there. So again, we are going to be keeping an eye on this story for you, being first reported by Politico, and we should also let you know that on the news of this report, Tesla stock has rebounded by more than $25 so far today from session lows. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on those impacts as well right here for you on Live Now from Fox.
Want to know the secret of
All right,
this is how to get
we're gonna look up Ponzi scheme too. All right, so you see what I'm talking about. So let's speed this up. I got 2 more videos to show you. All right, let me go. Now the other one is okay. Let's go here. Trump tariffs.
Eyes still on the stock market here in the last 6 hours. China's tariffs against the U.S. went into effect, sending the futures board back in the red this morning.
And Michelle is at the live desk right now, tracking new fallout overnight and what it means for your money. Hey, Michelle.
Well, hey, guys, our team's been watching these very numbers overnight, and they've been really all over the place. So for now, you can see the futures. They're all down. Wall Street is set to open lower. While you were sleeping, China went through its vow to raise tariffs on U.S. products from 34% to 84%. China is the exception to the temporary relief President Trump now promises to dozens of countries. In fact, he's hitting China with even higher tariffs at 125%, effective immediately, per the White House. For all the other countries that did not retaliate, Trump said yesterday he'll pause higher tariff rates for 90 days, but he'll keep the 10% baseline tariff. Markets reacted just moments after Trump announced all this. Within minutes, the Dow jumped more than 6%. It led up to one of Wall Street's biggest single-day spikes ever.
This is a big win for Trump, and it's a big win for America.
This chaos seems to be just a game for Donald Trump, but it is really real, very real, for people's lives, people's livelihoods.
They will be fair deals for everybody, but they weren't fair to the United States. They were sucking us dry, and you can't do that. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
Okay, so guys, get this. Guess who made the most from yesterday's massive rally? Elon Musk. Guys, are you surprised? Well, he saw the largest individual gain yesterday, adding $36 billion to his fortune as Tesla's stock jumped more than 20%. And guys, Mark Zuckerberg right after that.
Interesting.
To his fortune as Tesla's...
Look at their face while they find out how much he made, you know, $36 billion. I'm just finding this today. That's why I'm doing the show real quick. Because, you know, man, they're heaping up treasures for the last days, man. Like one of my favorite books, the book of James, 5:1, you know, and we're going to go to Ezekiel, the 28th chapter too. You know, because America's being liquidated. It's for sale. It's been for sale the past 10 years. But anyway, you know, let's current day now, it's really going down the drain. You know, the tariffs, like I said in my last show, is a straw that broke the camel's back or America's back. This is being done. It's an implosion. It's by design. The elites are behind it, and like we always say, you know, in order for the New World Order to come in, right? America cannot be. There's no America, right? They can't. They can't coexist. All right. It's only the New World Order, because the New World Order involves a one world currency, right? Which would be an RFID chip, a M.O.T.B. A one world government, right, and a one world leader, okay, and one world religion, which would basically be you know, the religion of Satanism. All right, no God. All right, love thyself. But anyway, the point is, so I just wanted to show that. So let's hear that one more time. All right, one more time.
Dollars to his fortune. Yesterday, adding $36 billion to his fortune as Tesla's stock jumped more than 20%. And guys, Mark Zuckerberg right after that.
Interesting stuff. All right, Michelle, we're going to see how the markets fare today. It's been so up and down the last few days. Thank you very much.
You see their face? They're like, damn.
Wow, look at that.
They weren't expecting that. So the $36 billion, man. You know what I mean? So look, you think he's the only one? They're making money. It's a Ponzi scheme, this thing. They're playing you. Let's play one more. Play one more real quick. And I'll put these in the...
I've lost track on whether this includes reciprocals, it doesn't, and how we got to 145%. Kaylee.
This is today. I just saved it. So this came up in my algorithms, and I didn't even see this yet. So we can watch it real quick. Right, Trump tariffs still in place. I'll also put Apostles Horror Show on here. He did, of course, an excellent show in the spirit, and went into Revelation 18, and, you know, Moab, you know, Moab is my wash pot, you know, which represents making or providing, you know what I mean, producing, okay. So anyway, you know, China, like I said in videos, we all say through the spirit, is one of the everybody knows they're one of the biggest export countries that America deals with, right? A lot of the stuff that we get, everybody knows from China. Even ironically, the American flag, like a Paul Star went into, you know. So, you know, anyway, it shows how stupid these Americans are, right? You're rocking out for America, but your American underwear, all right, your little American socks, they're made in China. All right, your little American flags. Anyway, all right, so let's play slide.
Yeah, Ed, this really is about math and how these tariffs layer on top of each other, as there are different tariff regimes that China is subject to. As President Trump made clear yesterday in his post on Truth Social, he has raised the reciprocal tariff rate on China to now 125%. That, of course, has been escalated multiple times due to China's retaliation. But that did not include the 20% tariff that he had already put into place on Chinese goods earlier this year over the trade of fentanyl. So it's about adding that 125 to that 20% that was already existing, which gets us to the total rate of 145%. Now, this was actually all there in the White House's fine print, but obviously, it's difficult to understand with this fast-moving story how all of these tariffs work in tandem together, but it does seem that this is a figure that was higher, at least, than the market previously understood it to be, which is why we are seeing things take a turn. And this comes despite the fact that President Trump in the Oval Office yesterday said that he couldn't imagine taking tariffs on China any further than he already had, but maybe perhaps this is further than was previously understood, keeping in mind that China has still an 84% retaliatory rate on U.S. goods. It remains to be seen whether or not they will escalate that further and whether or not they are willing to pick up the phone and talk to Donald Trump, as he has suggested he is willing to talk to Xi Jinping, wants to make a deal, thinks China wants to make a deal, but we have seen no sign of that yet, as this trade war between the two largest economies only seems to be intensified.
I've lost track on whether this includes...
All right, so we're good with that. All right, so let's go to the scriptures now. You know, before trade wars, there are world wars, right? Trying to make this thing smaller. I don't know how to do that. I'm still learning this. So let's go to Ezekiel Before I go to James 5, let's go to Ezekiel 28, right? Let's go to Ezekiel 28 real quick. That's the spirit. Well, Ezekiel 38, Paul star witness to that, you know, proving that again, that Russia is the head of all nations, man. I'm the head of the other nations against America, you know, especially Iran. All right, they supply Iran with a lot of weaponry, and of course, the number one weapon is the missiles. Anyway, let's get right into it. Ezekiel 28:1, it says, "The word of the Lord Yahweh, right, Bahashem Yahushai, came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus said the Lord, power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not a God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High." You know what? Let's go. Let me see real quick. You know what? Let me go to James and I'll go to Ezekiel, because I'm feeling that more in the spirit now. Salakia. Then I'm go to Ezekiel, because that's really what I'm thinking about. All right, 5 and 1, and then we'll go to Ezekiel, right? Because, you know, this is what I think is going on. You know, a lot of these nations, they're doing back deals. They're going to tell you something because, you know, people are nothing but cattle and sheeple. You're copper tops, expendables, right? Casualties. But the elites, you know, the people, the insiders, they're starting, you know, they're making deals, back deals, money, you know, and you see, again, you know, what's going on with Elon Musk. You think he's the only one? He just made $35 billion to his fortune, you know. So they're heaping up treasures, man, you know, because something's about to come down. So again, it says James 5:1, and this is James talks about this, all right, prophesies about this. So James 5:1, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." And now Elon Musk, he's included in that. He's a lesser illuminated one, but he's not really rich compared to the elites, all right? The Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the elite banking families, international banking families, right? You know, I remember I learned that over 200 years ago, they were worth 500 trillion. Some people say now that they're worth that. Some people say before. I think it's before, all right? And they're even more worth than, you can't count their money. So they're the real rich. Go to now, ye rich men, and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Right? Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Ye shall eat your flesh as it were fire, and it shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped a treasure together for the last days. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. You know what I mean? Like I said, I already thought it was suspicious that Elon Musk went in there, and all of a sudden he parts ways. You know what I mean? That came out of nowhere. And the first thoughts I had was, okay, maybe he accomplished what he wanted to do with the RFID, with the M.O.T.B, you know. But then again, like I said today, with the video we just saw, I just found out, that's what I'm sharing through the spirit, he made $36 billion off of what's going on now with Trump, you know, putting a halt on these or whatever he's doing with these tariffs. You know what I mean? So, let me look up, matter of fact, let me look up Ponzi scheme. Let's read that one more time. Let's look up Ponzi scheme. It says, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Right? It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. Right? Before I go into that, let's look up Ponzi scheme. And then Ponzi scheme is going to set up James 5 and 4. So let's go to Stupid thing be going on my email, man. All right. Slovakia. Let's just go to I'm trying not to put my fucking. This is fucking annoying. Anyway, all right. So let's look up all right, right here, Ponzi scheme. All right. So I looked that up earlier, right? And it says a Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds. All right, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Ponzi. Okay, here we go. This is what I saw. So Ponzi, right? So I looked up Ponzi scheme. I said, where does the word Ponzi come from? So it says the term Ponzi, right, scheme derives from the name Carlo or Charles Ponzi, an Italian-born con artist who, in the early 1920s, operated a notorious investment fraud. Okay, Ponzi promised investors right 50% profit within 45 days or 100% within 90 days, claiming to make the returns by using postal reply coupons. However, he actually used funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier investors with little or no actual investment activity. The scheme's name became synonymous with investment fraud, where profits are paid to existing investors using money from investors. Yeah. So again, Ponzi is the actual person. Ponzi scheme, right? He basically, deceived people into their money, and taking people's money to invest whatever they want to invest in, and promise them a payback. Get back, not get back, but a good return, right? And anyway, it wound up being a fraud. So my point is this tariff thing also a Ponzi scheme? Not only is it hitting more than hitting more than one bird with one stone, right? Because again, we know that the tariffs, if you know about the economy and the tariffs, how money works, we know that in no way it's destroying the economy. It's gonna destroy the market of America, right? So leading to a crash. But also, can it be people like Elon Musk benefiting from it, and they are. So he's not the only one. Remember, he's getting $32 billion, right? I don't know if that's in a day, 3 days, or whatever. It's quickly, though. We know it's under a week that he's benefiting from this. So is this a Ponzi scheme, right? You have people who invested in Trump, people who invested in America, people who invested in this administration, right? Even countries itself. And now look what's happening. So somehow, some way, people are getting a return off this tariff. I can't break it down as far as how intricate it is and how it works, but we know. Look, Elon Musk had a great return, and who else is benefiting? All of them, all the rich are, right? So it's a Ponzi scheme. So claiming to make the returns by using postal coupons, however, because that's what Trump is doing. He's promising, yeah, we're going to do the tariffs. We're going to build, major factories to bring the automobile industry back, steel back, whatever, right? But like Paul Starr said in his video, that takes years to kind of accomplish. Buildings could go up kind of fairly quickly, but as far as permits, production, contracts, and you cementing, your business to bring in this stuff to do, like you're gonna have to pay for all that. So that takes years to do, right? It says so. He's promising a great return to America, right? In theory, tariffs are all right, and all nations do tariffs. It's just being used as a propaganda and publicity stunt to prepare the people for collapse, right? So anyway, but he promised America a great return off these tariffs. He's saying it's going to make America great again, a lot of money, right? But we know it's not, because Elon Musk, an example, he's benefiting from this, and other rich men, right? He actually used funds from new investors to pay. So we read all that. We got that. Let's read it a little bit more. It says the man whose name the scheme is now known was born in Lugo, Italy, 1882. Ponzi claimed to make profits by buying discounted international reply coupons in Europe and redeeming them in the U.S. at face value. Fraudulent nature, he actually used the money from new investors to pay returns to older investors with little or no actual investment in the coupon market. So, I got to read it over again to fully understand, but I mean, you guys do, of course. My brothers out there, astute brothers, Akim, but hey, we know that Elon Musk, he probably wasn't putting in money, and now he's getting that return back. Maybe he was one of those first investors, right? He's the one putting his money out. Yeah, he actually donated, I think, some hush-hush money to certain governments that go against Trump. In there, I think 20 million or something like that. He gave some foundation, to put them on their side. Anyway, key elements. Ponzi scheme often involve unrealistic promises. Yeah, high returns, minimal or no real business operations, and the use of new investments to pay off older investors. So yeah, Trump is promising unrealistic returns. It's going to take years for you to see it, and you still have to come up with the money to fit the bill to make these factories, man, or to make this to build. All right. So the Ponzi scheme became a landmark example of investor fraud, leading to the term being used widely to describe similar schemes. So yeah, is this tariff thing fraud? All right, is there fraud being taken place? Yeah, most likely. Like I said, I was surprised. Well, not surprised. I was like, oh shit, he made 32 billion. All right. So let's go back to the scriptures. Right. So now let's read that again. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have reaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the point right, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept by fraud, crieth. All right, and that's ultimately the nation of Israel, right? We're the ultimate laborers, right? Because the laborers don't start with your steel workers today, or union workers, or people who work now. America was established by free labor, slavery, all right? Labor which was slavery by the Israelites, right? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? All right, the transatlantic slave trade, right? 400 plus years, not paying the slaves, not paying the laborers, right? So you're getting 1,000% profit back. So, this is how America became great, by the blood of the Israel, right? So, they're crying up to the heavens, man. You had slaves dying in the field, working until they were dying, right? So the Lord says, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. All right, the Lord of Sabaoth is none other than Yahweh Shai, the Lord of armies. That's what Sabaoth mean. All right, Yahweh Shai, Exodus 15:3. The Lord, he is a man of war. All right. So the Lord of armies, what armies? His men, his prophets on earth, his soldiers, his servants in the heavens. Michael the archangel, also his vehicles, man. The UFOs, the UAPs, chariots. Chariots in the scriptures, all right, those is part of his armies. All right, so it says, where was I? Right, ye have lived in pleasure in the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Yeah, ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Yeah. So that's what's happening. These men are doing James 5 and 4. They're reaping up treasures for the last days, building underground bunkers, space stations above the earth, hoarding the food of the world. Just they're getting prepared, man, because there's a major collapse coming. That's what these tariffs are. But it says, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord Yahushua. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, right, which is the elect waking up, which Pastor always says, believe they're sealed, right? So this word is accomplished, man, because how do we know what's going on around us, the current events? That's how we know we're close. And hath long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. That's right. So we almost there. Be also patient, establish your hearts, your mind, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. That's right. All right, so let's go to Ezekiel. I don't really have to, but let me see. Yeah, I gotta run. Let's see if I'll just read it, right? The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto me, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus said the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I send in the seed of God in the midst of the seas, which are the people, yet thou art a man and not a God. It says, though thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Yeah, going into the CERN technology, quantum computing, AI technology. This is unprecedented, man. But the Lord did this for a reason, to glorify His power, right, and to show His power. And for the angels to play when they come back. This is all to glorify the Lord's power, because nothing in this world can bring down the tight grip by way of the technology and their devices, weaponry, right? You would have to have basically divine intervention to take down this man, right? So this is all. See, this is his power is really built up to show the Lord's power, just like Pharaoh. All right, you know what I mean. So we're coming into some beautiful times. Anyway, it says, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Yeah, and they have. All right, with your understanding being a double, you have created PONZI scheme, which is the banking system. Usury, right? Controlling both sides of the events. You finance war, right? The bankers create war. They make money off war, right? All right, so I gotta go right now, because by their good wisdom and by their traffic, their transatlantic slave trade, right? The first international billion-dollar network, right? That was the Atlantic slave trade. Hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches? Therefore, thus said the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defy thy brightness. Yeah, and that's happening now. The other nations are drawing their swords by basically talking about their nuclear capability, all right, which is a nuclear weapon looks like a sword, right? Scriptures talk about other prophets described their visions, what they saw, the destruction of America, that glittering sword, the fiery flying serpent, right? Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God? But thou shalt be a man, and no power in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of the strangers, for I am spoken it, said the Lord. All right. So that was it. Gotta go. Hope you're edified. I'll put this in the description. I know I gotta go, so it's probably gonna be late. You know, probably air later today. But again, you know, yeah. So Elon Musk, he parts ways with Trump. So it looks like he accomplished his mission, whatever he did in there. And also, you know, he just made $32 billion, man, and is probably going to keep making money. So we know he's not the only one, and they're reaping up treasures because something's about to go down. So anyway, shalom. Hope you're edified, and Lord willing, see you soon. So kal halal yahaba ba Hashem Yoshai ba Hashem ukawuda shalom. All right, the water Yahweh forgiveness Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the Akim in this country and all over the world. Prophesying the true name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.